Welcome back to Buck Junkies. What y'all up to today?
Man, we are getting ready for a big contest next week, Mark.
Not just
Mikey.
Man, I'm looking forward to it, but dreading it at the same time.
We say it all the time. It's a love-hate. It's one of them things you're excited to get here, but you're excited to get it over with.
It can't all be sitting in the deer stand waiting on that big buck.
That's right.
Where's Jamie today?
He's had to run to the doctor today and had some stuff to do at the house, and he getting ready for the contest too. He just got done cooking. I think we cooked 32 butts yesterday.
Dang.
He's probably wore out.
What'd y'all do with all them?
Barbecue nachos.
Really? You can't go wrong with that.
A lot of them. But
How many nachos would 32 butts make?
they were supposed to be, I think he said 400 people is what he was shooting for, but I think 200 showed up. And
So
they had a lot of leftover.
been some loaded up nachos right
I was
there.
gonna say, how did y'all portion it out? Did you get like an ice cream scoop, or you have a tongs, or
No,
a
I
certain
think-
amount in your hands?
I think by that point they were just piling it on.
just throwing it down.
Was you there? You wasn't there for
No,
it?
I dropped them off, and then he come in, and they served. It was a couple of them. It was for a athletic banquet at his daughter's school, and
Okay.
they served it all up. But I think they ended up taking all the ones they didn't pull, and I think they sold them to the families for like $20 or $25 a piece, just to make sure they go somewhere and don't go to waste. You know.
That's good.
Darn, I'd have bought one.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of, I got a vacuum seal hog again, so we got to
You
do
still
that.
got hog?
Yeah. We saved some this weekend for next weekend.
So last weekend, first off, what anything go on down at the farm?
Man, yeah.
Before y'all went and cooked hog, y'all went down there, didn't you?
Bounced on a tractor.
Mark, Jamie got on the tractor, and we had to bush hog some of the summer plots down, and we had to manicure some of the other ones that we're keeping. They were trying to keep maintained through the summer. Our clover plots, we went down, Mark bush hog most of those with that smaller bush hog. They were up about, man, some of them were about knee high.
Yeah.
That clover and stuff had kind of got up. Some of the wheat was still up there, so we were bush hogging those down and getting them back down to the height we want them, where we can maintain them. And then we had to get rid of our winter plots to get ready for these summer plots we're putting in. And you know, the bad thing is like you walk out in those fields and you see all that wheat and those red clovers and things like that, you know, and you're like, you're an idiot for cutting that down.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, me and you talked about that. Once we hit that July mark, August, it will burn them freaking fields up. Like, it's going to go away, and then the deer ain't got nothing. You know, we seen that last year, getting those hot July, August, September months, and that clover, you know, especially out in those big fields where it's not a lot of shade, man, it's gone. And then you ain't got nothing. So we're going to bush hog it down. We're going to put out some seeds probably in the next few weeks after Memphis and May and all that. And
Hey, we're spraying next.
we're spraying next. Miles and them are actually down there going to try to do that for me today or sometime this week or first part of next week. And we should be able to go back down there and disc and plant at the same time, get our vetch and buckwheat mix in, which is a drought-tolerant food plot for the summer, which works well for us down here. It keeps up with our deer population and handles that drought a lot better than some other things.
Well, I'll tell you what I noticed. You talked about the red clover. There were several plots that you look at it and you see all them red blooms. You're like, man, this thing's ate up with red clover. It really ain't that much in there. Like, once you get back and look, like, yeah, them flowers look like that field's full, but it ain't that much clover underneath them flowers. I almost believe it's more flowers per head of clover than it is clover.
Think
Yeah.
it just got too tall.
Yeah. So that clover gets tall. You know, once it does that, it gets leggy and stalky. So it'll come up. You know, some of those are up. What, Mark? Probably
Shoot, 2 foot?
Yeah, 2 foot, and then you know you see that pretty red flower out there, and you think it's just nothing but clover up under, and it's not. It's competing for sunlight, so it's trying to grow up with the weeds and the wheat and stuff like that. So it gets long and leggy and not a lot of leaves, but it's got leaves at the top and flowers at the top. But once you cut it, it's
Now, the white
much
clover, if you see white flowers in it, it's pretty full.
yeah.
You know, it's not like the red. I noticed that. Like, there was a few spots I bush hogged that had a little bit of white in it that I wasn't worried about just because it wasn't plentiful, you know.
You cut the white tops off and let it roll.
I done it where basically we talked about it before, but I let the bush hog down to where the dolly wheel just barely touches the ground, and you just top them. And try not to cut any of the leaves. You're just wanting to knock the flowers off of it and give the leaves sunlight.
So after y'all did all that, was it, Mark, you did some tree cutting too, though, didn't you? Run a new chainsaw?
Dude, I did as much as I could. Keep getting hurt. Yeah, so we went and bought a new chainsaw for the farm. We've got some smaller chainsaws. We got some battery operated stuff, and that stuff is great. But when you're cutting big trees and you're constantly working that thing, man, you kind of wear some of that stuff out, you know, and so we had to go buy us a good industrial.
What was a chainsaw cost us?
It cost us $600.
Oh, dang.
Ain't bad.
No, ain't
Not
bad.
considering.
Did you get an orange one?
Yeah, I got a white and orange one.
Oh yeah, not Husqvarna, the steel. Huh?
Got the steel farm ball.
Oh, that.
And it's it's a workhorse. You know, you can cut through some pretty good sized trees. It's got 20 or 21 inch
20.
bar,
Yeah, I think it's 20.
something like that. It's got a pretty good sized bar. We can get through those big trees and stuff. But yeah, we cut up some trees, cleared out some of that, and
Use the tractors, push them up out of the field.
yeah, some of them had to get Mark push them with the tractor. You know, I'd cut them loose, but they didn't come on down, so he had to kind of push them over and knock them all the way down. And we still got two that we got to get out of the trails. So
Was it bad wet anywhere?
no,
I didn't
no water
notice any.
trouble?
No,
no.
it was fine. The only place that was a little wet was right there at Crossroads where it holds
At the end of
water.
that field?
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's cross ties now. That's not crossroads.
Feels like cross ties.
Oh,
out
that
the
was
field.
that was a rough field out of all of them. It was behind the house was smooth. I mean, we didn't have too much. It was a couple little bumps here, there, in South Trump, but most of it was pretty smooth.
So we never hard broke that ground. Not like it's been done over there.
No.
See, I think that was from the previous owner running one of them big chisel plows and breaking it deep, but that's what causes your ripples, you know.
And we had to go in and fix a lot of that stuff, you know, after you bought that property. You know, me and Jamie went in there and Jamie had a box blade and stuff. And we had to fix a lot of that where he was dropping that big heavy disc. And man, it was cutting down in the ground, way down in the ground. And it would just push the dirt out to the edges, and it was holding water in the roads and stuff like that. And we got all that slicked up. But yeah, he was using pretty good disc to break up all them food plot stuff, man. He had it pretty rough.
How much lime did we put out last week too?
20, oh Lord,
30?
20, somewhere between 25 and 30 tons.
A lot.
That's a load.
Which really, I mean, that's about that's what I was talking to Miles. I said, is this a lot per acre? You know, what normally?
That was 2 tons per acre. What we needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he put down.
Yeah, he said this is pretty common. He says, but he said it's about as much as you can put out in one time.
Yeah.
He said that line, which I never thought about, and I seen him fighting with it when they filled that hopper all the way up. He's going across the field bouncing. He said that lime settles and packs so hard. If you put much more in a hopper, it'll just basically pack the concrete, and you got to get in there with the stick and bust it up and bust it loose. But I think we got how many total acres did we bush hog? You think?
Let's see. You got. Oh Lord, you're gonna have to give me a minute. 30, 35?
Easy.
There's a lot.
He didn't bush hog. I mean, he didn't lime everywhere you bush hog.
No.
You bush hog a lot. I rode down there over the weekend where y'all were gone hog cooking. I went and checked things out, and I got freed up. It looks dang good. I mean, everything's looking good.
I got to go back and get around the house a little bit better and kind of fine tune it. But up around the house, what my concern, we was trying to get them plots looking good.
Yeah. Well, it's time. So y'all picked up a hog and went down to
Went down to-
Delta.
yeah, Bull. We talked about that.
Had you been to Bull?
I've been to Bull a couple
Okay.
times. We went down there. It's a pretty neat little town. It's an old Delta town, and you know all that up and down 61 is all old farm town stuff like that. And
Bet you they had them working down there. Some fields all broke up and sprayed.
they
and
were
everything.
spraying. They were crop. Every airport one by had a crop duster sitting there running, getting loaded. You know.
Tell you what, at my house, I don't know what they sprayed on them fields, but they was out there Saturday night with the lights on. I guess they've been all day just trying to finish up. It's about 8:30. I come through there. It's like, what is that? And there was a tractor with a spray rig out there, and it was green the day before. Next day, everything was dead. I don't know what they did. So I need to go watch my groundwater, see what happens.
That's what I was going to say. That I don't know what that chemical is. I mean, they sprayed it out by our house too, and it's the same thing. You know, they did it. It was late in the evening. They were spraying, and you know, pretty much about the same time. And man, I don't know what they're putting down.
bad to the bone.
Next day, the next evening, it was brown, son. It was cooked.
That's the way it is now. They'll be able to plant that here this week, probably. I don't know how long it's got to sit.
They were running planters, and then, like I say, crop dusters. That's something still cool to me is watching crop dusters.
Dude, would you do that? Would you? I mean, I know you ain't a pilot, but you got
I would love to,
to get in one of them and go.
because I think
Ain't no way I can do it.
I don't think I could be like some of them crop dusters because, you know, like on, what is it, Men in Black, where the old guy was a crop duster, he saved the day.
Yeah.
It takes a special individual to fly them things, I'm going to tell you.
It does. A friend of mine, he used to do it. He had a business doing that, and he's a special individual. I ain't gonna call his name on here, but anyways, a buddy of mine was telling me that I seen him fly under a freaking power line one time. I said, no, he did not. And he said, yes, he did too. He was crop dusting our fields, and he went under that power line a couple of times. I said, under the power line? He said, under the power line.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
You pretty much
just stick that thing in there, dive it down, drop that load, bank off.
You balls to the walls from the moment you get off the ground.
If you could sell rides on one of them, man, that'd be crazy.
He said it's so hot in them crop dusters.
I guarantee it.
It's got, they probably have the shortest lifespan out of anybody.
Yeah,
crop duster.
I tell you,
most of them have crashed. I mean,
I don't know of one that hadn't.
Yeah,
they lived to tell about it though.
Yeah,
something we noticed, and Miles has told us this before. We asked Miles when we was questioning him about lime and what we need to do, and asking him what he limes, and he's like, "Man, we don't. They very seldom lime down there in Delta." And he was telling me they get all their minerals and their limes from their irrigation systems and pumping water on their big sprinklers. So when we were going down 61. It could have been coincidence. It could have been whatever. But you had fields that were bare dirt that had irrigation systems, and you had fields that didn't. The dirt color on the ones that had irrigation systems was so much darker.
Like that dark, rich.
Oh, yeah.
Like
some of those fields, of course, it was dry. Now, both fields were dry, but you could just tell a natural color difference in the fields. And me and Jamie got to watch, and sure enough, everyone that had an irrigation system, man, it looked like Delta mud, And them others were just kind of, they look like good dirt, but they didn't look like the irrigation system fields did. And I don't know if it's really that much mineral comes from that well water, naturally, and you don't have to put as much chemicals or much lime or fertilizer on those fields or what the deal is, but it's definitely something to it for sure.
Yeah, because, a lot of times, your wells, your actual well water, groundwater has, a lot of chemical in it. Minerals in it.
Minerals.
I said chemicals, minerals. Got minerals in the actual water.
How deep are they running those wells? Are they not super deep? It's not like drinking water well. It's just ground table.
Yeah, it probably just depends on where that first table is and where they hit good water, what they call good water. Most.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's human consumption. Like you ain't gonna pump it to your house. But could you?
Yeah, you can hit that first water table and drink out of it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know nothing about that.
I ain't never seen, which I think when you go to the deeper water tables is when you start running into issues as far as actual water and like how well purified it is. Because our deer camp, when they put the well in, the one in Abbeville, they missed the first water table and had to go to the next one. What was it, like 450 or 500 foot?
Man, I don't know.
They
can find them. They vary depending on what part of the country and where you're at, on top of ridge, down on the bottom, or whatever.
But if you don't run that well regularly, it smells like rotten eggs, dude.
Just sulfur? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is?
Stagnant water, just.
And it's real like red sand. It's real clay material down there, stuff like that. I don't know how much that plays into it, but.
Well, see, water's got bacteria in it. So any water you get's got bacteria in it. So if if you're in the inner city and stuff like that, or you're on a water system, that's why your water tastes kind of like pool water. Sometimes they had to put chemicals in there to balance pH.
It has so much.
You had to put something in there to kill the bacteria. So they put this is a chlorine or bleach type chemical that goes into your water system to kind of kill that bacteria out and keep it out of your water system.
So you do that on your well water too?
No, I just drank it.
You just drank it. What about the bacteria in it?
Man, it don't hurt me.
Oh, that's good.
Just
you get used to it.
Tick.
That's right. A little twitch. Yeah. Y'all see me twitching on these podcasts all the time.
Water. Been drinking that well water.
Mikey's been drinking too much well water.
So I don't know if you noticed it when we were bush-hogging last weekend. The rabbits were unreal. I bet I seen 30 or 40, like easily.
Which side?
I didn't see any, but
over on Salem. Yeah,
on Salem.
Especially like when I was doing the back loop, like hitting all them pine limbs and cleaning them trails up. Every 20 yards, one run out. Dang. They were everywhere.
You know what that means? They'll run a rabbit dog next year.
I had to run a rabbit dog. Something else.
We didn't run. They didn't get ran there this year, did they? Did y'all ran some squirrels, but that was.
We was hunting squirrels at one time.
You didn't run rabbits.
Mikey was a regular bird watcher last weekend. He wasn't looking on the ground for no rabbit.
Well, I was telling Mark.
Did you see some turkeys?
No. So we got these falcons that they'll chase the tractor. Well, they're not chasing it. What they do is they stay up kind of high. When you go out to go to bush-hogging, they have learned that when they see a tractor in a field, that you're knocking bugs and varmints and stuff like that out of the grass. So they'll stay right over the top of the tractor. I noticed them last year when I was out there bush-hogging. I could see shadows on the ground, and I was like, what is that? And I opened the door up on the tractor and look up.
Thought the buzzers was waiting on you to kill over, huh?
I didn't know because it stayed over me the whole time. And I looked up, and it was some kind of falcon like a small bird of prey.
Yeah.
And they look like they're about the size, a little bit bigger than a pigeon.
Yeah, they ain't real big.
And man,
I mean, smaller than a hawk.
Smaller than a hawk.
yeah, they're smaller than a hawk.
Yeah.
But they would dive. They started diving. I would go through some of that tall grass, and grasshoppers would get up out of it, and they would catch him They would dive down right in front of me and beside me and snatch him grasshoppers up and fly off. And by the time y'all finished the other day, there was probably almost 8 or 10 of them out there on that field, and they would take turns. They would get over the top of the tractor, and one would catch one, and some more would come in. And they'd swoop in, and, man, it was all day long they stayed over Mark and Jamie.
They were working.
Circles eating good.
They rascals are
yeah.
fast. You see them on.
You see him get any rats or mice?
I seen one dive over the ground, but I couldn't tell what he got. But man, we may not have some monstrous big deer. We got some Boone and Crockett field rats out there. That one come out, and I was like, man, that's a big old coon. Heck no, it was a darn field rat. Man, that dude was so
2 foot long on it.
big rounds of 40-ounce beer. I mean, he come running out just. I don't even think they can run that fast because they so fast. They dragging the ground. They wearing stuff out in them fields. I can't think of if I didn't see a single snake when we was bush hogging. We usually do. You'll usually run some kind of chicken snake or something out, you know.
Yeah, I didn't see any either.
Didn't see any. I didn't even see any deer in the field when we were bush hogging. I seen some when we were coming out and didn't pay any attention. I didn't notice any kind of nest or anything like that we were concerned with. Everything.
No.
I think it was a good day bush hogging. We wasn't really invasive on them, I guess.
Well, the weekend before, me and Melissa went down there that Sunday, and I got on the side by side because I knew we were going to come in there and bush hog, and I kind of rode the fields. I knew Malcolm had been down there before, but I rode around like through the fields, kind of zigzagged the fields, see if I could run a turkey out or if I seen any nest or, anything was laying around in the field out there, and it wasn't. So I felt pretty confident we didn't tear up anything by bush hogging those fields down.
The only thing I hit was in mud hole, and I guess it was. I don't know why it was so bad there, but the darn fire ants.
Yeah.
There was a fire ants pile out there bigger than a 5-gallon bucket. I hit it and thought I done hit a stump. Like, it sounded terrible in that bush hog. Other than that, I think it was all in all pretty good. We got a lot of it done. We got the grow in the wall, the stuff from last year. It done dried up. I mean, it wasn't nothing left but some stalks. We got all of it bush hogged down. Mikey did find a shed on the edge of the food plot, so late season shed.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah. Ain't no telling how many we run over with the tractor, though.
That's one thing that worried me. We didn't find that many in the fields. I was like, man, we're going to have some flat tires.
I was waiting on it to happen.
They will tear a tire up. Man.
And it was so thick, you can't see. I mean, that wheat, some of them fields, that wheat was like Bermuda grass thick. And you can't see nothing. You just hope ain't nothing in front of you, kind of stay aware of it. But Miles did say that that was a rough field. And I figured that big old tractor, you didn't see the tractor he come in there in line with. It was the same one he done the ditch with the flotation tires.
Seen that tractor, yeah.
I didn't know what tractor he had, and I got up to the field that he already limed, and I looked, man, it was tractor tire prints. Shoot, looked like 6 foot wide. Looked like he just rolled it down, But
Which one was that one rough on?
The Clover.
Clover?
Oh, no. What was rough in the tractor? Cross ties.
Oh, cross ties.
I don't know why that field, that's got to be what it is where he broke it with that plow.
Well, that field it's a low-lying field, and that one end stays damp,
Yeah.
I don't know if that has a lot to do with it. If it was rutted up at one time pretty bad, but.
Whenever we disc it this year, if we come back and cultipack it, it'll be.
Yeah. See, we disced it last year, but we wasn't cutting 6 inches in the ground or so, and just trying to level the field out and get it broke to put something down. And, I guess the more we do that, maybe it'll start leveling out a little bit more. But it's rough. You really can tell when you're spraying and you're running, you got to run
faster,
a lot faster than you are when you're bush hogging because it'll bounce you to death.
So Miles is spraying, you said? I guess he's going to use his big spray rig?
He's using Malcolm's.
Oh, he's going to use ours? That'd be good. What's he spraying it with,
Roundup.
Okay.
Put Roundup down it's a
spring kill off.
Yeah, it kills everything. So you don't have to. Now once we plant everything, we'll have to change that. You can't spray the vetch and the buckwheat with Roundup. It'll kill it. But you can spray the corn and beans with it though.
That's what I'm ready to see. I want to see if corn's gonna make it.
But yeah, we actually got to go fishing this past Friday for a little while. We got to do some fun fishing.
What'd you catch?
Man, we caught everything. Like we went out after crappie, but we were not serious crappie fishing. We took the pontoon out, found a few tops, and we're fishing around those. Took my nephew with us. He's I think he's, hell, I don't even know how old he is. Like 6, 5, something like that. He think he's 5. Anyway, so we had a kind of a party boat when we went out. You know, we had the radio playing, we had our coolers, packed a lunch, and we had poles off each side of the boat. Man, that was so much fun to go do something like that. We just kind of laid back, listening to the music, and just fishing, sitting on the water, and not really having to wade around in the water and work hard to catch
didn't
fish.
care what you caught.
Didn't care what we caught. We kept everything.
That's my kind of fishing, Mike. All goes in the cooler for the frying pan.
Yeah,
Get the grease hot.
Oh, that's what I was pulling them back in. My brother was telling me, he's like, "Hey, we ain't on aqua, brother. Ain't no slots. There ain't no length. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Y'all was keeping. Y'all wasn't
We
catching.
kept everything that we caught.
What was
But
the biggest one y'all caught? Was a big crappie in there?
Yeah, we caught one that was. He would have went 2.5 pounds or so.
Yeah, that's a good crappie.
But it was we caught one, and the rest of them were. You can tell that nobody really crappie fishes in there. It's kind of. There was a lot of little thin tater chips that we caught.
Y'all probably did them a good thing, taking them.
Well, that's the other thing, you know, doing something like that where if you got a lake or
smaller lake,
something like that, you got to take fish out of it. So
Yep.
we were catching them. They were real skinny and thin. We knew there was too many of them in there, so we're just trying to do our part and catch as many as possible. But we got to take
bluegills.
Yeah, we did. We got a couple of good bluegills. We wound up with a smaller cooler, probably like a 40-quart cooler, something like that. It was about half full of fish.
Yeah, shoot, that's a good day on the water, Mikey.
Yeah. Well, we got to take the neighbor. He's 80-something years old, Mr. Dole. He always fishes off the dock. He don't never catch nothing. He seen me and Randy come back to the dock, and we dropped my nephew off. He wanted to get off the boat, so he went up the hill to his mama, and Mr. Dole was standing there and said, "You catching any fish?" We've coaxed him on the boat. We told him, "Come on, Mr. Dole, you want to go fishing with us?" And he was like, "I don't know if I." said, "Yeah, you're going to be all right. You're with me and Randy. You can go with us."
Yeah.
So we put a life preserver on, stuck him up the front, and we put him back in that honey hole. Man, he thought he was on a guided fishing service. Me and Randy were baiting hooks, throwing them out, and we were handing him 2 poles at a time, and he would catch a fish, bring it back in. We would take the fish off, rebait one, give him another one, and he caught fish till he just got tired of it.
Oh, man, that's probably made up that man's day.
Oh, yeah. He was so excited, man. It was fun to watch him because he was laughing and cutting up, and he has a hard time fishing. I mean, he's 80-something years old.
Yeah, shoot, man.
I hope I can do that at 80.
I make it to 80, somebody take me fishing, man. That'd be it.
Thing is, if I make it to 80, I ain't getting in no boat with Mikey and Randy. Ain't happening. That might be a bad call.
He didn't have to kick beer cans out of the way, did he?
A little bit. He got on the boat and he said, "Darn, boys, y'all drank all that beer?" He was like, "Well,
That ain't a lot.
yeah." He said, "That's a lot of beer." I said, "No, it's only midday. That ain't a lot of beer. Come back at about 6 o'clock."
Man. So when's the fish fry? That's what I want to know.
Man, I don't know. We were talking about that. Me and Randy got a lot of fish. Well, he's got a lot of fish. He's been cleaning them. I let him keep them and clean them. But we've got we had 4 bags of crappie, I think 1 or 2 bags of catfish, and a bag of brim after that day.
Man, that's a good haul, Mikey.
Yeah, it was a lot of fish. We need to have a fish fry out there. That'd be a good time.
I'm ready to do some fishing. I'm fired up about it for some reason.
Yeah, we've about reached our breaking point here for Buck Junkies podcast. It's summertime, so we like to take a little pause.
That's what I want back kayak shopping again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Did you buy one?
No, I ain't bought one yet. I'm still, man. Me and Mikey's looked at I don't know how many kayaks, and there's so many different reviews, and there's so many kayaks that are this one's great for this, it sucks for this, and man, it's about worse than shopping for a car.
Oh, just go with one, man. They're plastic. Just get you a boat that floats.
Yeah, you say that.
I mean, if you don't like it, get
another one.
Yeah.
No, I've been looking at 2 different ones, and I think I got it narrowed down. And
what's your price point?
I'm trying to stay under 1,000.
Yeah.
And really, I'd like to be around 500. Something like that, because I don't know what to expect.
I mean, if it's going to be something I'm going to put my life in, I'm going to go ahead. Make sure.
You gonna spend $2,000. Just go ahead and make
get out
sure.
there no $400 one or whatever.
Well, that's the one I'm looking
Malcolm's
at.
gonna have them big tire bumpers on his, like in barges. He don't want to turn it over. Don't want to.
I think the pontoon.
He'll have him the $400 on the side as a lifeboat just in case.
Yeah, the backup.
The backup for the backup.
And you get off in them swamps, so the gators swim up beside you. One of them things.
But I'm either gonna go get one. It's in stock at Academy right now. I'm looking at a Pelican. They got 2 different fishing ones I've been looking at. One's a catch mode 100 and one's a catch mode 110.
Yeah, I looked at. Is one of them green? Like kind
One of them's kind of green and one of them's kind
gray.
of tan.
There was a gray one up there. I don't remember what it was, but I was sitting in them. It's got a really good seat, and it had the cup hold.
Yeah.
It had the cup holder, had your rod holders, it had a dry box and all that stuff on it. And
That's
was
the 100.
$400.
Yeah, it's got looks like the same seats like in David's boat, like the millennial seats.
Yeah,
like it's
millennial.
a suspension seat. It's pretty nice, but no, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger. It ain't got everything on it I want, but you can upgrade it pretty easily. And I think we're gonna go on if we can get everything done for Memphis and May before this weekend. I'm gonna go get in a kayak and go fishing Saturday morning. Hopefully, that's the plan at least.
That'd be fun. Drop in about daylight somewhere and.
I'm gonna do a short track first and see. I'm gonna try to drop in on cold water
They had a rack of them down there last weekend when I went by Saturday morning.
on 51.
Yeah, I mean I don't know how many. You know, it
The
looked like
water's
one of
up-
them guide boats.
The
Water
water's
was up way over the ramp. Yeah.
It's so high right now, you can get in some of that backwater and probably wear them out. But I didn't know either. One more thing before we get to our main topic. We was walking around Academy. Have you been in there and looked at their catfishing stuff lately?
I went in and I had to buy some bands for my sunglasses and go get me some more shoes. And I came back down. Melissa was with me, so I didn't want to go in there and spend all day in there looking at fishing stuff because I'll get hung up over there, just disappear for 2 hours. But I passed them by and came back up to the front. But I glanced over there and they looked like they had a little bit of more stuff over there, but I didn't go in there.
This will lead us right into our topic. And our topic today is kind of the advancements and changes in equipment, whether it be hunting, tractors, fishing, whatever, from when we were kids to now. There's a whole aisle of stuff for catfishing. When we was kids, we had a bobber, a split shot, a weight, and a hook. And that's about all you had. You know, if you was fancy, you might have you one of them fancy leaders on there, you know.
could get the little stinkers and the nuggets.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Little stinkers.
Y'all remember little stinkers?
Yeah.
Now they got full-on, like, dedicated catfishing rigs that is, like, already got your hook on
They
it.
ain't selling catfish at lures, are they?
I ain't seen the
If I
I
lure.
see
haven't seen
that.
the lure yet.
Now, if I see that,
But, I mean, they got all these different ways to, like, you want to float your bait 6 inches off the bottom.
Oh,
or if you want to have it suspended it's all these different attachments now. And I was just like, good Lord. And Emily was like, well, why they got all this fishing stuff? What's this for? What's this for? And I was like, well, they're for different fish. And she shook her head. She's like, it's just like barbecue. He's like, y'all got all these different rubs and they all go on the same thing, you know?
that's right. She's not wrong.
But I was amazed. It's a whole aisle full of just everything for catfishing.
Catfishing's big, man.
Yeah.
It's you look at what David's doing, all the tournaments and stuff going on.
Getting one set up with him now.
I was supposed to say if you
wear them out.
if you know what you're doing with that stuff, it will make a difference between a day of catching 2 fish and catching 20
Yeah.
fish.
So what technology? You think technology's just done it to it? Like, because I mean, we grew up watching fishing shows,
Right.
and people were using baits and all that, but most of the technique was, and they might have had a depth finder or little hummingbird locator or something, but it wasn't like it is now with all these live scopes and
Well, I think
fishing. Everything you can see on the boat before you even drop the line.
Some of it is technology, I think, but I think a lot of it is like more of your innovative people that learn from just out there experience doing it. That's why like B&M Poles is sponsors David Magnus, or they sponsor some of these bass fishermen. They kind of come up with these little innovative things, the way they put their baits on a hook, or the way they put a downrigger on, or something something to do.
Or the circle hooks. I didn't have circle hooks.
See, that's what I was getting at. Prime example is you look at hooks. When we were growing up, you had a J hook. That is it. It had a barb on it, and you might have the little barbs up top to hold your worm on.
Yeah.
And other than that, it was that was it. And then they come out with the true turn,
That was the
Yeah.
and that was like it was a love-hate relationship. They'd hook them, but you couldn't hardly get them off. And now you look at circle hooks. Like I think a lot of that is just people that are very passionate about fishing, just like we are barbecue. We try something and it works, well, we can make it a little better. All right, then let's bend the hook this way. Well, crap, that hook works really good. Let's manufacture this hook,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is just learning over time, and you get more familiar with the species and the catfish or the bass or crappie, and you know what works. And there's nothing wrong with a regular J hook, but you go on the river with David catching them big fish, you fishing with circle hooks, and they ain't getting off.
Do you think that, so we see how barbecue went, where people are sharing more now, and, you know, it's not close to your vest, family secret recipes. Yeah. Fishing's kind of like that too. Do you think people are sharing more techniques for how they're catching fish and
everybody but crappie fishermen?
You think so? That's the ones that they're like the turkey hunters.
Yeah, everybody but crappie fishermen.
I think so, because you know you got like your bass fishermen and your catfish, like David and them. You know, David shares a lot of secrets with people and stuff like that. It's like that. Was it drop shotting he calls it, or whatever, where they bounce down the river?
Yeah.
You know, you would use those rigs where you have that big weight bouncing on the bottom
and trying to find holes.
You got a rig where it holds it at a certain level on the, you know, it don't let it go all the way to the bottom, or it may hold it at 6 inches or 6 feet off the bottom, and all that kind of comes together in one piece with like the new technology on those fish finders. You find those fish at 6 foot. Well, you got to set that rig at 6 foot. You're not going to catch him at 5 going under him with the bait. Yeah. You might, but you know, you want to put it right in front of his face. And
well, that was one of the setups I saw that I was very intrigued by. It was a full assembly, kind of like a leader. You tie it onto your line. It already had the weight, the split shot, and it had a little cork on the bottom. And what that cork done is your weight, I can't remember if your weight was below the cork or above it, but your weight held it on bottom, and the cork come up and floated your hook wherever you wanted it.
Yeah.
So the weight would sit on the bottom, and it had just a little small black cork, and I guess it would pull it up, and you can adjust the depth. If you want it floated at 2 foot off the bottom or whatever, you could adjust that. And I was like, dude, all we knew how to do back then was just put a slip knot on it, and we was tight lining. That's it.
I saw something crazy the other day. This was on, I think it was a TikTok. It blew my mind. This guy was fishing. He was pier fishing, but you know how they run the outriggers on the big boats when they're tuna fishing, where they'll have the outrigger with the line on it, and it's a breakaway, and the fish get on it? He was doing it from the pier. He had a breakaway pole, and that was the pole he cast it out, and it was all connected to it. You cast it out, and it's holding the line down. And on his other pole, his catch pole, it was attached to it, but it was designed to where the line would break away from the long pole, and that's what he would reel the fish in. I had never seen anybody doing that from a pier before.
So you would cast with
it was like
a
an
breakaway
outrigger
pole.
type pole. Yeah. It was a bigger pole. Get it out there, get it deep.
Yeah.
And then the
then
other
you had
pole,
the short stubby pole to reel it in.
That she was getting it in with. It was,
makes sense.
I had never seen that. But that goes back to technology too. We used to just you had some fishing shows with some, you know, famous kind of celebrities that we watched, and then you had magazines.
Yeah.
And that's all you had. You know, you didn't have TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and ways that people could share all this stuff. And, you know, and so I think that's changed a lot of it too.
And you look how, like,
information wise,
you know, when we go smallmouth fishing, we fish with them little crawfish. Well, when we first started doing that, it was just a kind of a crawfish silhouette. Yeah. Now you go up there and look at it, and them crawfish look like they're alive in the package.
It looks like something, yeah.
I mean, they got some baits now, man.
You go in there and look, they got them little shad, you know, that look just as real as could be, you know, and it's definitely changed.
I bought 4 swim baits down in Jackson when I was down there, and went to their academy or bass. I don't remember what I went in, but I went down there, and they had these swim baits that looked like, they had one that looked like a sun perch, one that looked like a bluegill, one that looked like what we call a gargle eye.
Detailed.
I'm talking about, it's painted like a freaking, I mean,
artist.
It is, yes, like an artist painted it. And they're broke in 3 places where when they swim just like a freaking fish, man. I hadn't put them in the water yet. I got to find somewhere where they don't get hung up because they're about $12 a piece.
We're going to swim down and get that one.
It wouldn't do me no good to be a kid again, man. I've been wearing my parents out trying to buy them baits. I remember what it was like just to buy the old Rapala crankbaits, you know, the little crickets and the crawdads I fished with when I was a kid.
See, that was another thing that changed. When I was a kid, I wanted the biggest tackle box I could get with the most stuff.
Oh, me too.
I mean, I wanted it to be like top rows, nothing but little minnow swim baits. Second row is crankbaits. Third row, this is all jitterbugs or something, you know.
We went as far as we had a spinnerbait box.
Yeah.
You had the crankbait. You had the worm box.
Now I'm trying to get it as small as possibly can and carry the least amount, you know.
Yeah.
But that'll lead us right into our main topic, and kind of what we were talking about then is basically what has technology done for the outdoor industry, for hunters, fishers, anybody that is involved with just being outdoors. It don't have to be related to hunting, just in general. You know, anywhere from farming, your tractors, your foilers, your side-by-sides, you know, kind of what it was when we were all young and what it is now. And, just kind of what has it done to the industry? Has it helped it? Has it hurt it? Things like that. And we kind of, one of the first things I thought of about this was side-by-sides now. You look back when I was a kid, four-wheelers had just come out. And I guess when Mikey was a kid,
big red
three-wheelers. And, you looked in.
Red. That was a king day.
You had one of them, and you had some.
Yeah. But you looked in. That was a cat's meow. And, heck, before that was
reverse.
Yeah, you had reverse. So before that would have been like what Daddy used to have, like them little carts you have to haul your deer out on. Then it was a three-wheeler, then a four-wheeler. Now it's side-by-side. Now side-by-sides are to the point to where they're just as nice, if nice, as some of your high-end cars.
You might as well buy a Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah.
For real. You can go get one brand new, buy as much as you can a side-by-side.
Yep. Man, I know a lot of people probably don't remember that, but I'm glad you said that about three-wheelers, is how far some of that stuff come. Used to, them things just, they were like a 4-speed, and that was it, and it had no reverse. So if
going forward only.
Forward only. And, people think, hey, no, there ain't no way. Yes, it was. You had to get off and push that freaking thing
or turn
backwards or try to make a turn with it without backing up.
But you look at it then, though, that three-wheeler weighed 200 pounds.
Yeah, it did. It wasn't very
It wasn't heavy.
And they were small. Like, the biggest, that big red was 250.
That was a big one. Yeah. Most of them were 110s.
That was as big as it got back then.
And now you got
they start
1,000cc four-wheelers that weigh 1,000 pounds. Like you ain't gonna move it. But that was one example, and that's something just like I was looking this morning. Polaris is to release their new side-by-side, and I think they're releasing it on the 16th of May. But it's called Expedition. And that's the one I was telling you about. It's got, it's full enclosed cab, 4-seater, or actually it might be a 6-seater. And then plus it's got full-on camper top shell.
Looks like a baby Hummer.
It looks like it looks like a Ford Expedition. It's got a full working bed, and
there's a guy that pulled up down the crawfish stand 2 weeks ago when I was down there cooking, and he comes every week, and he has something similar to that. It looks like a freaking Hummer. It's got full-blown doors, heat, air.
Oh, I seen that the other day.
He lives out there by us somewhere.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know what brand those are, but they do it. It looks like a baby Hummer. It's got the same grill, same headlights.
But it's side-by-side.
It's side-by-side.
Yeah.
I don't forget who makes it. It ain't Polaris.
I'll look at it.
Hassan or something like that? One of those Chinese things?
No, this one was.
Unless Polaris does make a military edition, but I don't know if it's available to the public. I don't know. But it kind of looks like that, too.
Man, it was a truck.
The one Mark's talking about has a hard top on the back.
Yeah. It's a removable camper shell.
It looks like it's an SUV. A baby SUV.
It's full cab, air conditioned, heat, power steering, GPS, navigation, stereo system, surround sound. Heck, now you can get heated and cooled seats.
So is that what you want when you go hunting? Like if you're going to the hunt club or you're going to deer camp or whatever, do you want that?
It depends on where you're hunting.
Mikey don't.
Yeah. I that's me. I got, we got the one that ain't got doors on one of them.
Yeah.
It's transportation, but
I have to think about it. It depends on what you're doing. So where we're at, we maintain our roads really well. So we're not tracking in and out of mud all the time. So, and we got a 10-minute ride on side by side. It's not like you're going to get cold. And when we do get to the stand, guess what you do? You fire the heater up.
You're not going 30 miles.
Yeah. So
from a work standpoint though, if you had to just go out and you got to put fertilizer in the back to haul it out to somewhere, or whatever you're using it for, I don't think that you need the windows and the air and the fancy back and all that.
Yeah.
It's just something. That's just my take.
I get the comfort aspect because a lot of these people that are purchasing this stuff is somebody that's going to hunt a little bit on the weekends, but they're going to take their family out on rides.
Yeah. On like expedition type trips or
and
something.
like go riding and, I could get the.
Yeah.
Or
you got into that.
Yeah. Or if you get into, you got a 2,000-acre ranch, you're checking your cattle. Yeah, it'd be nice to get in there in the winter when it's -10 and turn the heat on the ride and check your cattle,
So there's a place for it.
There's a place for it.
For the everyday recreational guy. But
when y'all took the gut wagon to Arkansas riding with us, y'all was dying.
I know.
Man, we was living. What do you mean dying?
You lived for
we had a good time. Now we did, but when that sun was up and we were tracking y'all, and that heater or whatever it was stuck or blowing in there on me and Malcolm, it was already 100 degrees.
Yeah. It was hot,
dude. I didn't have a dry spot on me.
Oh, it was hot. That's what
we were
coolers for. And
I was just waiting for one of us. had a little too much to drink. We were kicking them doors open, letting the air blow in there, and ripped the door just plumb off of it. But yeah.
So while we're talking about that, if you were to buy a side by side tomorrow, your perfect side by side, what would it be?
Man, I'm either gonna go with the Can-Am or the Ranger, and I don't have to have the doors and all that. I mean, if no budget, of course, why not?
Yeah.
But if I was just getting it for our hunt, and I'm probably gonna buy another one pretty soon. I mean, it's not a base model, but I like the one that's kind of set up for hunting, where it's got the winch and a
windshield is a must.
Tires, windshield and a top. I like the 6-seaters. I don't like. I mean, 3-seaters are great for maneuverability and stuff like that. If you're not, but if you've got other people, you're hauling to the duck blind, or you're taking people out and putting them in stands, or just riding around with the family, that 6-seater is the one I like. So.
Even if you think about it now, used to when they first come out with the big crew cabs, their turning radius was awful.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad. We've never had an issue. Like, I mean, granted, again, we maintain our roads, and we're not trying to bust it down through the woods to get a deer out, but
you've taken mine through some places that I never dreamed a side-by-side would go through. I'm talking over trees, across creeks they shouldn't go through, up damn sides of mountains, it feels like. And I've never been impressed by what one of those can go through, and we've never been stuck.
No, and it's the turning radius on the new ones are so much tighter, especially now that you got a lock and rear differential. You can unlock it, and it'll turn on a dime.
I will say this, power steering. That's one
power
thing
steering's
I would
a
put
must.
on, because I got one without it and one with it, and it's night and day.
There's no going back.
Yeah.
If you buy yourself, it's fine.
Yeah, if you buy yourself, but if you got 3 deep in that front seat,
if you're working off of it and you've got it loaded down in the back, you got somebody up front with you, and you're trying to steer that thing with no power steering and make a tight radius, spraying a field or something, or just going and getting a deer, it's pretty bad.
And it all depends on what you want to do with it. Like me personally, if I was going to go get one tomorrow for dedicated for mainly hunting, it would be the Defender or Ranger, 100%. I would upgrade to probably either the painted plastics, like the automotive painted plastics, or camouflage, just because it's so much easier to maintain. It don't get scratched up. You can wipe it off.
Faded.
It don't look faded. Got to have a glass windshield. I stay away from plexiglass.
I do like the tilt out too.
Yeah,
I've had it fixed with the slides. It don't do near as good as a tilt out.
Right. Heat maybe. I wouldn't worry too much about air, but heat's an easy install, and it's really not. You're not adding anything on it. You're just plumbing a heater into your cooling lines.
So I love the heat in the winter, but man, it makes it so hot in the summer after aftermarket heat.
That was just because that was the first year model that Defender ever come out, and the back of the cab insulation on it sucks. So 90% of your heat's coming from the motor anyway.
Not from
the heat. Now, granted, the time y'all was on it, we didn't cut the valve off, and it was still flowing coolant in the dash, and that was blowing on you.
Yeah.
But there's ways around that now. The new kits are a lot nicer, and of course, the insulation and stuff on these side by sides are light years better than what they were 10 years ago. But really, I'm like you, power steering, keep it simple. I mean, it doesn't need much more than that. And Mikey would just soon take a Model T out there.
I'm good.
He likes the gut wagon.
Yeah,
I like the gut wagon.
I do like half doors. The full doors are okay, but to me, being a big guy, some of the factory full doors that you can't, you lose so much. You lose so much, room getting in them or once you're in them. But the half door is nice because you feel a little more secure than just the net.
Well, that keeps sticks off of you and stuff like that.
That's right. I'm the world's worst. Like on the 6-seater, I'll be riding it or passenger. I'll hang my leg out and not think twice about it. And that's really dangerous in a side by side hanging out of them at all, because you don't know the least what you think's a small limb. It go through you quick.
Well, a biggest thing we'll move on after this, but the biggest thing on that is something people don't think about, and kids, especially riding side by sides, they don't know any better. And I've seen it happen. Is riding through these woods and a stick come up and it'll go through that floorboard.
Oh yeah. Now we had one do it.
We had one do it to us. So if you're going to be in and out of the woods nonstop with these, they make stick stoppers that go on the floorboard, and I've seen it to where like it's gone in people's legs. Like it's devastating. And I've seen a lot of people get really lucky. And I seen one guy, it was actually a TikTok video. He was coming through a mud hole, and it was a log about 6 inches big around, come through the floorboard and one out the roof and through the windshield, and it missed him by just inches. And it killed him deader than a doorknob.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't no doubt. So, I mean, there's a lot of protective things you can do to these side-by-sides, and you can dress them up any way you want to and make them as simple or as extravagant as you want.
I like mine simple, just one reason is just because same way with like a pickup and stuff like I use my stuff. I
Yeah.
get in and out of mine wet, muddy, nasty. So it kind of hurt my feelings to have
Something too
heated
nice.
leather seats and
Yeah.
all that in one that I'm jumping in and out with chemicals on me. And
We're gonna tear the seats up.
yeah,
there.
you
get
buy a
blood
truck
in
from me,
it.
it's taken care of a 4-wheeler. It's been taken care of, maintenance,
But it's been
but
worked.
it's been worked. It's probably nasty.
Yeah.
That'll roll us right into the next thing that's changed. You look at tractors. You look at, say,
Farmall.
yeah, I mean, anything like that. You very seldom used to see cabin air tractors. 30 years ago, that was kind of like, that's a big option. Now you ain't hardly going to buy one without full cabin air.
Shoot, they had a freaking top on them. They was high cost.
Yeah.
So they're making these lawn tractors, fully enclosed,
Yeah.
fully AC'd.
Lawnmowers.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're not talking about just farm tractors. We're talking about all the way down, right?
And I'm not against that. I'm all for the cabin air.
Yeah. So y'all operate. I'm not a. I don't normally operate them.
If the
That's right.
weather's nice,
I need to learn. I've never. I
And
own
you're
a
not-
tractor, but I never really rode on a tractor.
if the weather's nice and you're not battling or worried about wasps, I have no problem riding open rocks. Like, it's something about it. It's relaxing, da-da-da-da. But when you hit that old cane thicket and them red wasps come out, I want that cab on me, I ain't want to get ate up by wasps,
What about
bush-hogging.
the ground wasp?
All of 'em
Yellow
will get you.
jackets.
That hydrostatic drive has changed farming a lot too. Because if you've never been on a tractor that was back in the '60s, and stuff,
manual.
like you had to, it was like you had to mash the clutch in. You had different ranges, A, B, and C. You had different,
See,
1, 2, 3, 4, and
That's the kind of tractor I could drive though.
But-
Massey Ferguson. That's what
right.
my great uncle had. And I remember being a kid, and that's who he put me and my brother on. And we had to learn to drive one of those. So you get me in one of these John Deeres with the cab and all this, man, I'm lost.
Oh,
And
our
my dad,
tractors,
even my dad, he's got it's just a Mahindra. I mean, it ain't an expensive tractor. It's a dang good tractor, but I can operate it because it's just you just get on it and it's got the clutch.
Simple.
And, yeah, it's simple. It's very simple. Throttle's right there. There ain't no electronics
Eco
or having to-
mode
and all this stuff.
I tell you one thing, you can tell the difference in a person that's drove a tractor that you had to shift gears on. We'll call it a manual tractor.
Yeah.
And one that's somebody that's never drove one is like when they get to the end of the field, they use them brake pedals to spin that tractor around where they ain't going to stop and back up and put it back in forward and turn back around and line back up. You go down in the field, mash that brake pedal and spin it on a dime and drop it back down.
and like our tractors are nice. Like they're comfortable and they're not over the top. Man, you get on one of them tractors Miles got, man, it's like driving a spaceship. Like it's got more buttons and levers and nice way to
Automatic,
Yeah.
autopilot, and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
turn loose of the steering wheel, and you got. I mean,
It's high tech.
The technology on combines and tractors and stuff like that has come so far now that where like they have a program now where when you map out your field when they're actually on the tractor, you go down a mile, you take every time that tractor makes a turn, that it maps it. So when the combine comes back and picks, they know like you pretty much can take the software out of that tractor and put it in that combine and
know exactly
pretty much know
what
Where
where.
it's got to go.
where it's got to go.
Yeah.
And the first time I rode a jump seat in a combine when they had all that new technology was a man named Jimmy Jacks that was farming out here by my house. And anyways, he'd seen Will and let me and Will get in the combine with him and rode in the jump seat, and he was picking corn. And he was going down through there as he was picking. It was reading the moisture levels in the corn he was picking, how much he would yield per acre, how much he should yield on that field, how much moisture would be in it. So he was making test passes. And if you ever seen them out there where they have corn or something like that out there, and you see where they just made 1 or 2 passes in that field, you wonder why did they do that and not take
Too wet?
It was too wet. They made a test pass on that corn and it had too much moisture in it, and they stopped picking. So they let it dry for a few more days or a week or something like that, and then come back and pick it again.
That's high tech farming.
Well, you get dinged on that moisture level when you
Yeah,
take it to to
They'll
sale.
turn you away.
Yeah.
You got to go back to the dryers, let them dry. So with tractors, you think about it, like my great granddad had a 1947 Farmall Cub. It was a 4-cylinder, 9 horsepower. I had a push mower with more horsepower than this tractor
Yeah.
does. He done 81 acres with that tractor. And he had a belly mower, because it had the belly attachments. He had a little 4 or 5 foot disc. I think maybe 1 or 2 chisel plows, and maybe a grater blade or something like that. You know, he didn't. That was about it. That was all the attachments they offered.
Yeah.
Now you look at it. I mean, you look at the lane shark.
Yeah.
Would you ever imagine somebody thinking they was going to put that on a tractor 20 years ago? No. Or you look at the planters I got now that, you know, are all automated. Or you look at, heck, even the Bush-Hogs now. It ain't just a simple Bush-Hog no more. Yeah, it cuts, but, I mean, you got different functions. You can change speeds. You can –
The Batwing.
The Batwing, and, I mean –
What was that planter we were looking at on – was it YouTube? Where it was up north where they were planting wheat or corn or something, and it come out and it just started folding out, and it never quit. It unfolded for 100 yards across the back of that tractor. It was good night.
I think it was some type of a vacuum planter is what they call it, and it's got an air pump stuff on it like that, and it actually, if I understand right, it shoots the seed out like exactly where it needs to go, but
like precision seeding.
And I want to say it would fold out. It would fold in to where it was 8 foot wide, so you pull it down the road. And when it folded out, it was like, 100 row planter or something?
It was something like it was.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No, that technology from tractors, it's amazing that over 50 years, what it's done.
And some of the stuff that they got is not even out yet.
So if you got a small place, you need a tractor for food plotting, what are you going to get?
I'm probably going to go with, I like our newer tractor, the smaller one. It's a 70 horse, I think's what it is. It's cabin air. It's pretty basic, and that would be my pick. I mean, 50 to 70 horse. I would get over 50. Mm-hmm. Another thing I like about the 70 horse is you're still under that threshold for emissions to where you're not dealing with DEF and all that. It's just using passive regen and not active regen. So that's to me, I love that because we never have to add DEF to that machine. We get out there and run it. And, of course, the more horsepower you're going to get, the more upkeep and maintenance you're going to have as well. So if I guess it depends on your acreage. 200 acres, somewhere around in there, 70 horse is all you'll ever need. You know, it'll be fine.
Small enough to get in the tight places.
Small enough to get in tight places, but big enough to pull an 8-foot, 10-foot bush hog. We can pull it pulls that big 10-foot disc fine.
A lime buggy.
Lime buggy. I mean, it's plenty of big, and I mean, really, in some cases, it might be too big for small farms or small hunting areas.
Yeah, it would depend on the layout of your property and stuff like that. You know, if every food plot we have was kind of like Wayland stand in the mud hole and stuff like that, I mean, that
might
tractor
be a little
would be
big.
too much.
Yeah.
Jamie's tractor would do it. You know, a 50 horse. Or what is Jamie's?
Jamie's is it's the smallest horsepower that has a turbo, so it's like 47 or 50 horse.
Yeah. So I mean, then that's a compact tractor, no cabin air, no nothing. You could use that tractor fine and do everything you needed. If everything was small and broke up, when you start getting in those bigger fields, you realize how small that tractor is. You got a lot of passes on that field.
Well, I mean, it took us. Look how long it took us to bush hog plantation with 2 tractors. I mean, I was running a 7-foot bush hog. Jamie was running a 12, and I mean, we were out there an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a feat, and we were. By that time, I was hustling. I was grabbing gears and cutting. We was mowing junk down.
He's running laps.
He ran laps. He lapped Jamie.
I was. I was in B4. Jamie was in B2. I was in B4. I was covering ground.
Jamie's in B2 trying not to spill his drink. Mark's trying to get done and get to the house. He's got that thing wide open, but it took it.
It took it. And that's something, too, to think about is like those bush hogs. I'd much rather run that 3-point hitch bush hog than that batwing. And just because you ain't got to worry about, you can maneuver, get around, make sharp corners, roll on, and cover some ground. And that batwing does cut great, and it's fast, but it's also a little bit more tedious to run.
What else you got on there, Mark?
One of the things that I get tickled about is a John boat. John boats are not John boats no more. You look at some of these John boats out there that are $40,000.
I've been looking for one, man. I am not paying that much. I might go to Marketplace and just get me one for Michael. I just want something to throw in the small pond.
Yeah. So, like, when I grew up, Daddy had a 14-foot Polarcraft flat-bottom John boat with a 25 horse on it. And that was all you ever seen. They either run a 25 Johnson or Evinrude, one of the two. If you had a Mercury, you was doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got these Havocs and all these fancy, it ain't nothing but a fancy John boat and putting 100 horsepower motors on the back of them running 70 miles an hour. I mean, I'd love to have one, but dadgum, that ain't a John boat,
Yeah. And they're proud of them, too.
They're proud. But you can get a regular pond John boat pretty reasonable, something to skip around on like that. Like, I mean, I had one. Heck, me and Mikey fished in mine forever. It was just a little 12-foot John boat trolling motor. We fished all the Eudora lakes with it.
Mm-hmm. Used to you could find a used boat, with somewhere between a 10 and a 20 horse motor on it, and a 16-foot John boat for around about $1,500, $2,000.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No.
Used to, it was, I think Daddy always told me you figured up it was $100 a horsepower.
Yeah.
And that was for a new motor back then. Heck, now a 25 horse Mercury's $5,000. It's high. That's the reason I'm getting a kayak.
The jokers have changed too. They got electric start and all that on them. Used to, we was pulling that joker. That sucked.
Well, have y'all cooked anything?
Man, crawfish, that's about all I've been cooking.
Man, I cooked all kinds of stuff this past week. I was making videos. So
You've been videoing on the weekends like I've never seen.
I have. I had to get caught up for May. If I'm going to take some time off, we're going fishing here at the end of the month. We're going down to Venice to do some red fishing, and catch some specks, and whatever else we can catch down there. But, yeah, man, I tell you what, the best thing that I have cooked, I might have to give it to I thought it was Denver steak, but I'm going to have to give it to the picanha. You cannot beat just regular old picanha steak that's just been cooked medium rare. When you slice into it, it's got that crusty char on the outside.
That old fats caramelized
Oh,
up.
it's so freaking good. What about you?
Well, I hadn't cooked anything. Like I say, we was busy.
Cooked a hog.
We've been cooking hogs, and that ain't nothing new. I'm tired of eating hogs.
Tell me about the crawdaddies or whatever it's called down in Cleveland.
So my wife's from Cleveland, and when I first met them, and they always talked about going to crawdads, and I told them, I said, well, when we're going, we're going. So I've been there several times, and we went down there Friday for this contest, and crawdads was about 10 minutes from the contest. I told Jamie, I said, we're going to crawdads. I said, you've never been? I said, it's a neat place, neat atmosphere, because the owner is big into hunting, and like he does. I mean, you walk in the front door, and there's probably 30 or 40 bucks mounted that are well over 150, 160-inch deer just stacked deep. And that's just the start of it. You go back in the main bar area, heck, there might be a lion or tiger on the wall and a couple of elk, caribou, whatever. I mean, I would say it's over 100 mounts in this restaurant at least. And I'm talking about anywhere from full body mounts to rattlesnakes, you name it, But they had a dish that's called catfish parmesan. And it's not what you think. Like, I'm thinking like chicken parmesan with like
red sauce and cheese on catfish.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't order it. One of the ladies there with us, she got it, and I don't remember what noodle was underneath it, but it was 2 great big old catfish fillets that were fried hard, crispy, and it had like a Alfredo style sauce with, I think, like lemon zest, maybe some caper, some dill, and I just tried a little bit of catfish with the sauce. Shit, ain't nothing like it. It was so good. Man, it was good.
That sounds good.
But if you're in the Cleveland area, I highly recommend go give it a try. It's kind of off the beaten path. It's old school restaurant. It's kind of like an overgrown Como Steakhouse, basically. It's a big restaurant.
Is it all seafood or?
No. They got steaks.
Whatever.
They do crawfish. They do catfish.
We gotta go.
I'm gonna make a road trip.
Yeah, I've heard about that place for a long time. I've heard it's good.
It's solid.
One of the best places to eat down in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's definitely good. This would be something to get folks fired up in the comments right here. What is your go-to meal when you're working at the farm or at the deer camp? What is your packed lunch when you get on the tractor?
Shoot, I can tell you right now, hot and spicy viney sausages and some saltine crackers. We bought Kay's grocery out of them the other day. Michael went in there and said, Dad, we get some Baileys. I said, man, go see what you can't hardly find the hot and spicy.
That's the best.
They don't sell them by the little 12-pack or whatever. They individual, and they had them on the shelf, and Michael just wiped them out. He had a whole basket. I bet you we got 3 like Kroger sacks full. They're sitting on my dining room table to take the count. He's going to put them in the pantry. He's going to be stocked up for deer season.
I was so excited about my lunch. I stopped at the old road store up the road, and I said, I need 2 bologna and cheese sandwiches, mayonnaise, and I need 2 with lunch meat, cheese, and mayonnaise.
What is lunch meat? Chopped ham?
Chopped ham.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. I almost got a liver cheese, and I was like, I'm going to wait a little bit on that. But, man, that lunch meat sandwich was good. And I had me 4 of them in my cooler riding in the tractor. I kept asking Mikey, I said, you want a sandwich? No, I've had me some sardines. I said, you want a sandwich? Man, about 2 o'clock, I said, you want a sandwich? You got one? He took me up on that sandwich.
Wore off.
Which one did you eat?
I ate that big old thick bologna sandwich.
Man, it's good.
Bologna is my favorite.
If I'm out in the sun and like it's hot summertime, I either want me a cold bologna sandwich or lunch meat or cold tomato sandwich. Man, if you give me a garden fresh tomato with some mayonnaise, salt, and pepper, I'm in high cotton.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Those are my lunch meat choices, probably in that order. But like Mark had, well, he liked chopped ham, but mine's bologna and then that chopped ham, and then like regular ham stuff like that. I'm gonna go chopped ham over regular ham every day.
You got to have that salt intake if you're sweating.
You like that fat and salt?
Yeah.
Chopped ham's all right. It ain't my go-to.
I'll go with the liver cheese. I like liver cheese. Now, they did have some old sauce up there that was, I don't know what, it was said marinated sauce. I ain't never seen no sauce this color. Yes.
I've seen marinated.
It's like red. And
I've had pickled sauce.
I think this said marinated. It looked like it was bright red, had all different colors in it, man.
See the pieces of the olive. We all read olive loaf.
Yeah. I had
Yeah,
olive
he's
loaf.
like old pickle loaf.
Yeah, pickle loaf. That's what it is. Yeah, olive loaf, pickle loaf.
That ain't very popular around here no more. You don't even see it in the stores no more.
We-
Liver cheese. I'll eat liver cheese though.
Liver cheese is good. This is the perfect time to talk about all this because I guarantee you, Jamie, if he was here, he'd be gagging. He ain't eat none of that.
Yeah.
He might eat a bologna and cheese.
I think turkey's probably my least favorite lunch meat.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, that's what Shell makes me make wraps and stuff out of.
I like turkey if it's got a
bologna. The thick cut.
yeah.
Rag or regular. I'll take either one.
You found some hoop cheese. We were down there in Florence.
It did, man. I found the real deal hoop cheese.
Cooper's
man.
Meat Market had the real hoop cheese.
Man, I miss that. You know, used to when you find hoop cheese and stuff like that around goose liver and, liver cheese and link winnies is something you don't see anywhere. They used to have link.
Oh, they got them at K's.
Roll
in a
red.
bag.
Yep. Like you see on those cartoons, Tom and
Yep.
Jerry, they're all stuck together and they're all in one bag,
Mm-hmm.
man. Those little hot dogs were so good. Frankfurters or something's what they
Yeah.
call them now.
I think they call them Starlights was the brand I saw on them or something like that.
What is I seen this the other day too. It had imitation bologna. What is imitation bologna?
I don't want nothing to do with
I don't
that.
want
It
it.
ain't.
Like I thought bologna
Bologna's
was already.
bad enough.
It's imitating
I
meat
thought it was
already.
imitation as is.
I don't know. You should have. Did you get it? Try it.
They got it at Walmart. It's
Imitation
it's
bologna.
right. It's in where they had the little bologna chubs. The small ones. It's right there by it, and it says like imitation bologna.
Oh, man. I don't know what that is.
What's the one you buy? The
Hoggenwurst.
yeah,
or whatever.
the red, the yellow wrapper on it.
Oh, Braunschweiger?
Braunschweiger. Yeah, is
Goose liver.
that what it is? Goose
That's
liver.
what we called it, goose. That's what Daddy always called it, goose liver. We went fishing. It was goose liver, hoop cheese, and link weenies.
Okay.
That's what we take a rack of crackers with us. And we
Rack
went
of crackers.
That's good eating.
and we went fishing. That's what we had.
Look, that needs to be our goal. When we go to Louisiana on this fishing trip, we need to pack like the most authentic lunch for everybody. Like you do some crackers and sardines, I'll do some old smoked oysters in a can on some Doritos.
Hell no.
You ain't going no smoked oysters?
in a can. Not when I'm sitting on top of all them delicious oysters. We get some out of the water right there and eat them fresh.
We got to do some. We got to do some good lunches on the boat.
I mean, it's all taken care of.
Well,
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, you pack your lunch there, is what it said.
if I'm gonna have to.
You don't have to bring your own or nothing. It ain't like you gotta go buy. We ain't going to a place you gotta go buy groceries.
You think they get mad at us? We throw a fit. Where's the bologna? Where's
I
the
need some
body
liver
meat
cheese.
ass?
You can
Ain't got
bring
no
it, but
freaking liver
they-
cheese. We don't know damn turkey.
Yeah.
Malcolm got us going somewhere where you got to pinky up when you eat your sandwich.
No, it's. I mean, we go. You might get crawfish salad or
Some
we're
goodies.
going down. Yeah, we're going down to Louisiana, man. They ain't messing around. They might have boudin or
Man,
something like that.
Oh,
I hope they got some cheese and crackers. I get bobbing up down on that boat. I don't want to throw up much more than that.
I do got to say something about boudin. Congrats to Nick Woolfolk and his team. They done the exotic down there this past
Yeah.
weekend. He done a boudin stuffed quail.
Was it good?
I didn't get to try it. I seen a picture of it, and they took first place. And one of his friends is a Cajun, come up and cooked all their ancillars. He walked a dog.
Really?
I mean,
Debone quail?
I don't know. It looked
I've
like
stuffed them before.
yeah, it looked like a little baby quail. Like if I seen the picture right, and it was stuffed with boudin.
That's all you do.
Nick said it was outstanding. He said it was real good.
I got a recipe. Go to Mossy Oak Gamekeeper. It's on there.
That might be where he got it
It
from.
probably was. That's some good stuff, though.
It is.
Boudin stuffed quail is good.
So I want to do some,
You do it with dirty rice.
I was
do it
finna say
boudin.
dirty rice.
Yeah.
but that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. We're going to take Mikey, you got anything else?
Man, that's it. Ready to go fishing.
It's time, man. It's time to do some fishing. We're going to get our spring plots in at Buck Junkies, and we'll be back here in a few weeks to
Get y'all
catch
caught
all up on what all we've been doing this summer. But in the meantime, we got some recipes out there you can watch. We got all kinds of other fun stuff going on.
We done swap roles today. You got to close this
I
out.
got to close it
started.
out. But yeah, man, y'all go to buckjunkies.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. everything else, I don't know where we are. Tyler,
Y'all know where we're at. If you're listening to this, you know where we're at.
Yeah, but we're going to keep putting out fresh stuff. And, if you want to check out some of the merch we got, it's on the website. We got some other stuff coming out this fall, too, that's pretty cool.
And y'all make sure if y'all got some stuff y'all want to hear us talk about or interested in, let us know.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the hardest things when it comes to podcasts is keeping it interesting. And if y'all got something out there, shoot it to us. We'll go for it.
We'll talk about it.
I don't know if it might be zebra hunting, but we'll do our best.
All right. Well, hey, if we ain't nothing else today, gentlemen, I hope y'all have a good summer out there. We'll be back here in a few weeks when we gone.